Okay, so introduction to SAP. So if you do you really think that learning SAP is hard? And then learning SAP is not hard if you know the right way to start and what to learn. And as per your role, if you catch that basic understanding, because if you look at the entire SAP, it's ocean. I mean, too many products, too many modules, too many domains. Okay. It's not hard if you start rightly from the basics, and it's all more or less similar. I mean, no matter whatever the domain or whatever you work, it will be very similar. So where to click? I mean, if you really want, where to start? And these are some of the questions. I mean, whoever comes to this thing, you have some confusion about what is this SAP and what I am doing, especially if you are in a basis, right? I mean, some of you have said that you are working from last 3 months or 4 months. You might be working on day-to-day tasks, but still you have this confusion. What is exactly is? Is it a software? Is it a database? Is it, so much frustration? I mean, is it a functional? Is it coding, or is it a platform? Right? We have a lot of cloud platform and then Java NetWeaver platform. You hear a lot of these terms. So what exactly is it and where you start? Okay, all this frustration, if you follow this course carefully, I mean, with the structure which I have given and with the content, slowly I will take you to a level where you relate your current role and then the SAP in general, what it is. Okay, so in this course, introduction to SAP. Okay, so in this course, we don't focus on entirely on what is SAP and its entire portfolio. Okay, the most important thing is you have to understand is SAP. Main product for SAP is the ERP. Okay, so they have started their entire business portfolio with ERP, and most of these companies use ERP. And then they have 40 to 50 another components of the solutions which they have. But ERP is the core product. Okay. Now the question comes, why we need an ERP? Okay. So how SAP evolved starting with the ERP to what it is. And is it only an ERP solution, SAP? Is it? It's not. I will explain you why it's not an only ERP solution. Yes, they started with ERP, but it is not only the ERP solution. So let me quickly go through what we have discussed. So for day one, we're going to start with introduction to SAP and then overview of SAP. What is SAP? And, as a system and as a product or as a customer, SAP, or a vendor, service provider. Okay. And then we talk about SAP solutions, architecture, and SAP landscapes and basis administration. Of that, if we have time, definitely we'll have some time. So we will do a basic exercise or a labs where we log into the system and then we will see some basics. Okay. So good. So I'll just quickly review what we discussed before we had this technical problem. So we were talking about, most of us might think learning SAP is hard. It's very confusing and it has a lot of products, a lot of solutions. And is it a platform or, sometimes people may think that, what are these functionalities of so many modules? Okay. So if you are here, if you want to learn SAP and in that particular, you want to learn SAP Basis. Okay. So what we will do is going to start with the SAP as a company, complete portfolio and architecture. And then I will slowly take you to the basis administration. Okay. So again, is it a software or a database? Fine. Okay. So many of you might have these confusions or the frustrations when you start. And if you Google it or if you go to the help.sap.com, you may find it's a version of information and too much to go through. Okay. So that's always confusing, but don't worry. So we will start with the first module, Introduction to SAP. Okay. So when we say SAP, the first thing which comes to our mind is ERP. Okay. What is ERP? ERP full name, Enterprise Resource Planning. Okay. So we need to understand what is ERP, why we need it, and how SAP could able to make such a big company out of it. Okay. How it was earlier, before ERP, how the companies are doing their job. And how SAP with the ERP product revolutionized the entire industry. You see, you name any industry, okay, in the market, it's automobile or finance, banking or manufacturing. You take any industry in the world, okay? 95% of SAP financial transactions, like purchase orders, invoice, you name anything, 95%, it's a huge, okay, will touch an SAP ERP system. Okay. Then you see how they have taken the entire world's industry or how they revolutionize their software with this particular product. Okay. So it's very important. You name anything, you take banking, every transaction or the most of the transactions touch the ERP system. Okay. So SAP proudly shows it to the world that 95% of the world transactions goes through my system, or at any point they touch the ERP system. That's the criticality of this ERP, and that's how they have in last 40 years. It's a huge success that we will see. I mean, as when we talk about the history of SAP. Okay. So this we will discuss why we need ERP and how SAP has evolved to till. And is it SAP only ERP? No. Okay. So ERP is their major product, and they started with ERP, but they have evolved to multiple levels now. It's a very vast portfolio what we have now. Okay. So yeah, again, SAP solutions, which will be very confusing. If you go to the help dot, as I said, if you see the portfolio, oh God, it will be crazy. You'll see a lot of things and it's very confusing. Okay. So, yep. Now we will start with what is ERP. Okay. So before we get into the basis administration, right? So we need to understand what exactly the ERP do. Yes, you might be working in basis administration from last 3 months or 1 year or whatever is it, but you might not have a glimpse of functional aspect of SAP or the ERP. Yeah, we are talking about ERP now. Functional aspect, how it is going to solve the purpose for an end user. Okay, how it has changed the business. Okay, how it is improving or automating or simplifying the things what were being done by the manually earlier. Okay. So for these to understand, I mean, to get a glimpse of what ERP is, okay, we need to go through one particular example. Yeah, I'll give you one magic bookstore. Let's say we have John. Okay, he's the one guy who started a startup. It's a magic bookstore. Okay, what he's doing is he's selling the books. I mean, he's one person. He started a startup. So he deal with the authors. I mean, when we say procurement here, he talks to the authors or the book, whoever written it or publishes it, and he will procure the books or from the printing or whatever is it. And then he will sell them to the particular area. Let's say Bangalore. So in Bangalore, John has a magic bookstore where he is deal with the many authors and get the books and procure. And then some of them he will put it in a warehouse. So he has a warehouse or his room or whatever is it, warehouse, go down. So where he keeps the most selling books and based on the sales, what he has every day. So he will procure them and then he will put it in a warehouse. Okay. And then, okay, so his sales and then purchases, right? So he's purchasing from the authors or the printing presses and then he will sell. So he has to manage that finance at certain point. So he is using, like we all do, right? So what we use basically Microsoft Excel. Okay. So in Excel, he is maintaining his revenue details. I mean, sales and then purchases details. And then he is doing a simple calculation of, okay, is he making profit or is he making losses? So that he is doing simple sum and formulas using in Excel. Okay. And the controlling. Since he is the only guy who is taking care of this magic book, and yeah, some people will be there, but only for the ordering and stuff. But he is the only guy. So he has the entire control over the system or his bookstore. Okay. Because he is taking care of the procurement. He is taking care of the warehouse. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Any questions, guys? Okay. Please mute. Good. So he is the only guy who is taking care of this entire bookstore. Okay. Now let's see. So yes. So he's making good profit. He's selling well. And he wants to expand his business. Okay. Because if he wants to expand his business, what he has to do as a startup? So number one, he may have to start more bookstores, in a different region or a different city, from Bangalore to Hyderabad to Delhi or whatever. So he wants to start his bookstore because he got very popular in this particular location and he's making good profits. So for that, he has to sell more books. And then eventually he will make more money, more dollars or more money. So that's what. So he has got a thought that, okay, I am very successful here. Let me start or let me expand my business. Okay. So what he's doing to do now is Magic Book Chain. So guys, it's worth spending this 5 minutes on this example to get a glimpse of ERP so that most of the SAP products, okay, revolves around the ERP. So that's why you need to understand these terms also, finance, controlling, procurement, warehouse, sales. That's why I'm stressing on this aspect. So once you have this understanding, then it is easy going forward whenever these terms or the terminologies comes. Okay. So now he is expanding his business. So he has recruited 4 people, Mary, Carl, and then just Bob. Okay. So 1 to 5 or 4 people he has recruited. So 5 locations, let's say. So he has expanded his business to 5 cities, 1 to 5 cities. And from 1 person, so where John was controlling the everything, he has taken to the 25 people. So now 25 people working for him and 5 different cities. Okay. Now you see the problem. So each one of them, Mary, Carl, Bob, Jess, right? So even though John tells, the standards and all these things, everyone works in a different way. So Mary manages her bookstore and her procurement, her finance or controlling sales different. Or Carl may use Excel, or he's comfortable with the book or a ledger, he will use in a physical book. Okay. Or Jess may use something else. So each one of them for procurement or warehouse or sales, they're using their different softwares or different things, even though there are standards. But again, it's a person who is working, right? So for example, if John wants to understand in this particular week, how many sales or how many purchases we made and what is my profit and loss. So let's talk about the finance. So he has to talk to all these 5 people, 5 cities, and get a glimpse of it. And some may give proper data, some may not give. So this is a big problem for him. So even though he has expanded, so he is not making money what he expected. So he has expanded his business and he is selling books, but not to the level what he was doing, and he is not getting generated the revenue what is expected. Then he started analyzing what was the problem, where exactly I am losing money. You expanded and you invested more money, 5 cities and 25 people you recruited, but he lost his control. So, and if he is running like this, then it's not good for his firm. Okay. So when he started analyze, so he understood that there is a multiple version of truth. This is a very important term which you have to understand. So this is what ERP has solved for the many industries. That's what has led them to evolve to a level where I said 95% of the world financial transactions touch an ERP system, in a particular day, which means this is the biggest problem for any industry. You have so many departments, finance, procurement, warehouse, sales. So each one of them. So this guy, Mary, looks at the system and, she documented some other way, columns or whatever is it. So then Carl documents it something. So he orders his procurement in a different way. And this lady, Bob may do a warehousing separately. So at any point in time, it's very cumbersome and John doesn't have control over his department or the people across the cities. Okay. Which means each one of them, for example, you are selling a book called Fountainhead. Okay. Which is the most famous by Ayn Rand. So Mary, in this city, it might not be a top selling book. She puts it somewhere else and she thinks that it is not useful and she rate it as a least rating one. And this guy thinks that, okay, it's the best one and he puts it. So it's a multiple versions of truth for the same product. So each one of them are organizing differently. Each one have their different opinion or different thing. So that's the problem. So then John understood the problem. So now he has done an ERP. So you see here at the beginning, he introduced the ERP system. What ERP will do? So ERP system, he implemented ERP and he has given access to Mary, Carl, Bob, Jess, everyone is using the same. So the biggest problem was the multiple version of the truth for the same products. Now you have one product listed in the system and the same. So you have a catalog of products and you know which of them is selling across the regions. It's a tabular form and simply organized and everybody has to use the same thing. And John, for reporting, he doesn't have to talk to anybody. So he can log into the ERP system at any point in time. He can see, okay, which of my city is doing properly, which of my city is not doing properly, where I am having a warehouse problem, what all things I have to procure. So all this data is available in the ERP system in a structured way, and everyone see the same data without any individual's intervention or individual structure of organizing products or the data or whatever. So he has single version of the truth. Okay, for a particular product or for a particular thing, or everybody looks into it as one system. Suppose if you look into an ERP system, anybody, whoever has the access to the ERP, will see the same data. Suppose you guys working 3 to 4 months, right? You go and open one SC section and table. You get all the same purchase orders, same invoices, everything is same. So now you see such a complicated model where he has lost control of the people, products, everything, and he has bought everything under control. So what do you understand from here? ERP has solved the problem of multiple versions of truth, and it has given a very good control about his organization. Now you see, he has expanded to the 4 cities. Now he knows where exactly which of my location is not doing good. Then he can control that location and what he has to do to improve. Okay. So now the scaling up or the scale out becomes much easy. If you want to expand, so now from 5 cities to 10 cities, you can expand without any cumbersome activity or engaging a lot of people, because your ERP, you just have to give them the access to the ERP system. Okay. See, this is what has solved the problem for many industries. ERP has solved it. So anybody who started their company as a startup, if they want to expand or grow, ERP helps them. Okay. That's how the companies were able to do a lot of automation and then expand drastically. So you take examples of Tata, TCS itself. You have Tata Steel, right? So you have Tata Steel, you have consultancy services, you have many Tata hotel management, right? So now how Ratan Tata organize all these things, right? Ratan Tata, how does he get it? So it's a conglomerate, right, in India. So how does he understand if his businesses are making right or not? So he implements an ERP system for each and everything. You see in TCS, you have human resource management, you have finance, you have procurement, everything, right? So those all things are tracked in this one. And you take Tata Steel again there, steel purchasing, right? Then the coal. So the manufacturing thing, everything has to be integrated. So they all connect to an ERP system. And as a CEO, you will get a glimpse of, okay, which of my business is doing fine and which is not doing properly. And then you can take some improvement actions. Okay. So now you understood the ERP, how it solved the problem for the industries. And this is what ERP is doing in the market now. Okay. So now you understand what is ERP, right? Enterprise resource planning. So this will simplify. Good. So whatever I already talked, so I have put it in the slide. Okay. What I've given example as the Tata Steel or the TCS. So it, as I said, he has multiple businesses, the hotel management and all. It collects, manage, and share data. It's a single version of the truth so that you can make better decisions or the better choices. And then, as I said, if one of your business is not doing properly, and then you can control those processes, okay, where exactly you get a glimpse with the analytics, or, as soon as you have the data, you can do in the market so many business analytics tools. You have SAP Analytics Cloud is there, Microsoft Business Intelligence is, that's a trend now, data science or so many things are available to do the analysis. Okay. So, but do the analysis with those tools and then control the process where exactly you are making problem, where exactly you have the problem, identify it and easy to control that particular. So track and measure. Again, all of your businesses, you can track in a real-time data. Okay. So earlier there was no real time. So at least, I don't know if you heard it. Even now you hear, right? Month-end reports in BW. Okay. Month-end reports, and where you don't implement any changes in the system and you ensure that those reports are generated. But now we have this trend of real time. So that we will talk when we talk about the HANA. But yes, so you can track and measure. Earlier, they used to generate weekly reports or some critical reports, daily reports, and monthly reports. Okay. And automate processes. So as I said, so once you have this picture of the integration of these departments, procurement, finance, and then sales, right? These are all integrated in ERP. So which means, for example, let's take an example of the magic chain. You have sold 100 books. Okay. One particular book, let's take Chetan Bhagat's book. Okay. It sold a huge number of copies and it's a very good success. So earlier you have to call and place an order. right? I mean, hey, 100 books are sold, I need 100 book stock. But here, when they are integrated, the moment as soon as you release the purchase order, as soon as you sell those books, immediately you place an order for the 100 books. Okay, you know that what is your warehouse capacity? Okay, I can hold 100 top selling book as 100 books. Then immediately you will place an order. So the procurement to the sales, it's been automated. So such process, I mean, you take in a steel industry as well. Okay, the moment you generate the iron and then you sell the steel, and you have to place an order for the raw materials, right? So those number of raw materials, immediately it will place an order. So then it will generate a purchase order and it sells to the vendors, whoever provides those raw materials. That's what. So you can automate these processes. Okay. And then improve quality and efficiency. So now you have a single version of truth, and everybody or every business is following the same ERP system. So you can, I mean, if everybody is using the same, then there is a chance that very less mistakes, because you test it properly and everything is proven, and then it improves the quality, and it's a repetitive and automated task. The efficiency will increase better. Okay. So then at the end, run business better. So that's the slogan for SAP, right? So, I mean, if you look at the SAP, there's a tagline, run business better, or then there is a run simple. Okay. So run simple means because ERP is taking care of all these cumbersome activities where you used to have different departments. They were taking, ERP takes care of such a nice and controlled way. So that's why they say run business better and run simple. That's the current tagline. They say it's a simple run. Okay, so that's about the ERP. Okay, now the question comes. Okay, why only SAP succeeded? Don't we have another ERP solutions? I mean, what were the competitors? So we have many ERP solutions, but I will put you only the main few. SAP is there, Oracle, and then Microsoft. So SAP is the leader in ERP, and nowhere these Oracle and Microsoft come closer to SAP. Okay. So in the sense, as I said, 95 to 98% of the market is captured by the SAP. That we will talk about when we come to the customers' data. That you can find it in help.sap.com. It's open source information, which they will provide. And same is with Oracle. So they were not able to succeed. I mean, so as SAP, Microsoft, they were different regions, but it's a business. Once we have time at the end of this 40 hours of sessions, so we can discuss those things, why SAP only successful and why Oracle and Microsoft. It's a very interesting topic, how these compete each other and how they come up. But know that in ERP, the leader is SAP only. Yes, and along with those top three players, you have Sibyl, you have JD Edwards, and so on, so things. Just know it, just for information. I mean, you should not think that ERP means SAP only, no other players. No, there are other players, but SAP is the leader. So, okay, as a part of this course, we'll talk only about SAP. So we'll not cover about any of these other solutions. Okay. So any questions before I proceed further with the history of SAP?
Can I just tell you points whatever I have understood?
Yes, please, quickly.
So that I can... I understood that what is ERP and the ERP solutions you have explained in the last two slides. Apart from that, what was said before that?
I think we were mainly discussing about ERP. Before that, I was just giving an introduction of the confusions, and when you want to learn SAP, you might feel confused on where to start and what to start. Is it a database or software, and how difficult it is to learn? Those things we were discussing. But have you gone through the case, ERP case, what I've explained? The magic book chain?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, I got that. Yes.
Okay, fine. So anyway, I think this recording will be shared, and those who have missed the few things in the between, so you can have a relook at it after the session. Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay. So now you got a glimpse of. You might not have got a glimpse of what is SAP, but at least you understood what is ERP, how it can simplify the business, right? How it can help you to scale out your business with the use case or the example what we have discussed. So now, as I said, an interesting question, how SAP was able to capture the 95% of the market. Okay. Now we need to see the history of SAP, how they started, and because this is also important, because when you are working on a particular solution, right, it's always good that how they evolved, and just worth spending some 5 minutes of time. And here also I will try to explain about the technical things so that you get, this is what I don't give you the entire business, how they evolved and how they competed with everybody and how they earn more money. Fine. We can discuss, but the most important thing is how they evolved as a product.
Hey, ZaranTech now offers SAP corporate training. That's right. Train your workforce in SAP with our comprehensive program. We offer customized courses, certified trainers, and hands-on labs for both individuals and businesses. Our standout features? Bespoke training, fully configured servers for practice, in-house materials, and a dedicated LMS. Plus, get session recordings and 24/7 support. From functional to technical modules, we have got it all. Choose ZaranTech for SAP training and watch your team excel. Learn, upskill, succeed with ZaranTech.
Right? As a ERP solution, how they, transform themselves once they started. That's important to understand because you may have to work with multiple versions of these systems. Okay. Suppose some customers, why we have to understand this history? I'll tell you. Because now you might be working NetWeaver 740 or the latest system. Those of you who are working, I'll tell you, you might be working on the latest versions, right? There are some core industries who do not want to migrate. Okay. SAP could have introduced in 1972 one version of the system, and they want to be with that version of the system only. They don't want to upgrade. They don't want to migrate. It's not like us who will change our phones in 2 years or no. They don't want. Why? That's why you may have to support those systems also. That's why you need to understand what were the SAP's earlier versions and what is the current version and what is the middle version also. So I'll give you example of an industries or customers. For example, let's take banking. Okay, do you think banking is ready to migrate? If you go and tell them that, hey, upgrade your system, no, they'll say that, okay, no, boss, please, I don't migrate. Okay, banking, the most important, whenever you are migrate or update your system, the most important part is the data. So for banking, data is the heart, right? If you go and if you make some simple table entry, for example, with your name, John has 1 lakh account in his entry. And if you make 1 zero extra, that's it, 1 crore it becomes. So data is the most important for the banking. So banking person will tell that, I am happy with my solution. Whatever SAP has provided, I'm okay. As long as it runs for another 100 years also, I'm fine. Fine. On top of it, I can improve my application logic or servers or performance, etc. I can work on it. But data, I do not want to touch it. So there are customers like that, okay, who do not want to touch the data because they're scared and it's the heart for them. And if they lose the data, that's it. I mean, their entire reputation, their company, and they will go bankrupt. It's banking system. If you lose the data, that's it, you're gone. So that's why you have to support those older versions as well. Okay, that's why I'm giving you the history of these products. So it's not for just information purpose. So you need to understand what they had, SAP. So in 1972, 5 ex-IBMers, okay, IBM guys. So they have started, they have produced one simple software product, okay, for a different customer in IBM. So what IBM said is, hey, you close this project, it is no longer needed, okay, because they had some other software or mainframes. IBM was doing the mainframes. We don't want this product. You start, this is no longer needed, close the project. So these 5 guys thought that, no, we have developed such a good product or a good program or a good thing. So we don't want to give it up. We want to start it. So what they did, they talked to IBM. Hey, IBM, you want to close this product? Let's talk a deal. Fine. You give this product to us and then we will make a patent and we will start working on it. Then IBM said, anyway, closed product. IBM has nothing to lose. So what IBM did, you see in the world, most of the products or the startups who came up and they have grown, somewhere related to IBM, because IBM was the only guy who was in 100 years in the market that time. Even now they are there. Okay, but let's keep that way. So they took the product and they started their own company in Germany, in Waldorf. Okay. So which is the headquarters for SAP now. They started in a small bunk. This product, they took the patent and they have taken out from the IBM and they started. So in 1973, they started with one. Okay. So that means anybody knows what it stands for, because you hear this R1, R2, R3, and then there's no for, don't worry. So R1, R2, R3. R1 stands for real time. Okay. As I said, in the magic book chain example, right? John has expanded his business to the 4 cities, but he's getting a real-time data. What are my sales? What is my procurement? What is my warehouse data? Everything he can log into the ERP system and he's looking at it. So that's why it's called real-time. So one means one tire. So tire, TIER. Okay. And then 2 tire, R2, real-time 2 tire. R3, real-time 3-tier. So what we have in the market now is the R3. Okay. So this I will explain what is the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 architecture. So simply you can see here. So one means presentation, application, and the database resides on the same host or the same server. Okay, that's the one. And then in 1979, okay, these guys thought that, okay, if your database, if your application is having the problem because it's a bottleneck, so your GUI or everything, your application, I mean the portal or whatever is it, the end user thing, graphical interface, and then the application, and then database running on the same host. So it is becoming a problem because too many resources being used on the same host. So what they thought is, let's break here. Okay, separate the database and application. So here you see 1979. So they have come up with presentation layer separate. I mean the GUIs you are using now and the Fiori interface or whatever interfaces you are using interacting with SAP, they have separated that section, and application and database they put together. Okay, so I mean application computing and then the database are on the same host, and remaining part they have isolated. 1979. So that's where they came up with R2 architecture. And they have also came up with ABAP at that particular time. ABAP is a programming language used to develop these SAP products. Okay, so 1979 was the time they started with ABAP. 1992, they thought that, okay, still the industries are growing. So my application and database on the same host are also causing a problem. Let me separate it. So now you have 3-tier architecture, which is currently majority of them are using 1992 onwards. So presentation layer is different, application layer is different, and then database isolated. So all these three, this is a 3-tier architecture. Okay. So 1992, and then 2004 they came up with SAP Business One, which is for the it's a ERP only, but it's for the small scale industries. This again I will explain SAP's portfolio later. So the SAP ERP or the NetWeaver also they have introduced in 2000. 2004 is the game changer for SAP. When they introduced this SAP NetWeaver, okay, and they also introduced ABAP plus Java. Okay, so until then they don't have this Java, so they have introduced Java also, which means they have expanded their capability or the open source thing, and many things can integrate, or many they have opened up basically to the market. So two things, ABAP plus Java, so that anybody can come and develop on their NetWeaver. NetWeaver is their platform. Okay, so they have created a platform like you have Google Cloud Platform, or where you can do servers and then coding and anything you can do over there. So that is what the platform is. So they came up with a platform NetWeaver, and they have introduced ABAP and Java are the main players over there. So main coding things if you want to develop your application. And here after 2005, so SAP has introduced ERP piece. Okay, so they don't want to develop ERP 1, ERP 2, ERP 3. So they saturated with the name, and they were happy with SAP ERP. So how do they release their versions? So enhancement packages. So the modifications or the functionalities they have released as enhancement packages. So you might have heard SAP ERP EHP 1, EHP 2, EHP 3, EHP 5. So what is the latest EHP? It's EHP 8. Okay. So when this slide was there, it's EHP 7, but EHP 8, what we have now, that's it. SAP has stopped generating or creating enhancement packages also after EHP 8. That is the latest one, ERP. So, okay. So the next version is SAP S4 after ERP. Okay, that we will talk at the end of the session. We will talk about SAP S4 HANA, okay, which they've introduced in 2015. So yeah, 2015 SAP. So yes, 2009, 2005 they have released this ERP, and then EHP 7s, and the latest EHP is the EHP 8. And in 2011, the most trending or the buzzword in SAP, right? SAP HANA. So in 2009 they have introduced HANA. So HANA is a platform. If I have to put it in a clean words, platform. But database is its main component. Okay. So what is a platform and what is a database? So database is only a database thing, to store the data and to retrieve the data, column store, row store, blah blah blah, to store the data. But platform has a different functionality. Yes, database can be a service in it, but platform means you can develop applications, you can code on top of it, you can integrate with it, you can third-party applications or sourcing. So platform has much more capable features than a simple product. So that's why SAP HANA, if I have to put, it's a platform, but mainly SAP uses it as a database. Okay. In 2011, they have introduced, it's an in-memory. When we have this HANA session in detail, I will walk you through the architecture and how HANA evolved and how it is different from other databases. But just know that 2011, they came up with SAP HANA. So in 2015, 2009 itself, there is a business suite. This is the most successful product of SAP thing. So don't worry, SAP Business Suite means something different word. So what they did is, they clubbed some 5 to 6 products together and they called it as an SAP Business Suite. Okay. For example, so far what we understood, SAP ERP, SAP ERP was developed by SAP, and they have the latest one is EHP 8, Enhancement Package 8. So what they thought is, okay, my ERP is doing fine. So what about the customer relationship management? What about supplier relations? What about the product life cycle management? What about the supply chain management? Right? So those are all they have separated systems, CRM, SRM, PLM, and ERP. They combine all those 5 components or the 5 products in one thing. They called it as SAP Business Suite. On which platform they developed this Business Suite? NetWeaver. Okay, when I say NetWeaver, you always relate it to as a platform, NetWeaver platform. So I will talk about this also in architecture, NetWeaver. So on top of the NetWeaver, they have introduced Business Suite, which combines 5 or 6 systems. Okay, and in 2015, they came up with SAP S4HANA. We will talk in detail when this S4 comes. Okay, what is S4HANA and how it is different from the ERP? Yes, it says ERP is next version, but how it is different, what they have done corrections or what they did it, that we will discuss it. So now you got the glimpse of what is SAP, right? So how SAP started in 1972 and then how they have evolved in this 40 years, that's it. So if I tell you simply, there are many products, 40, 50 product portfolio, but this is the most important thing which you have to understand as a basis guide. Okay. So they started with R1, they have an R2, they have a R3 architecture they have introduced. So these are the tier 3 architectures. And then they have an ERP. Okay. And then up to EHP 8, they have released it and they stopped it after that. So they came up with SAP Business Suite. What SAP Business Suite? It is nothing but combination of the ERP, CRM, SCM, and other various products. And later they came up with S4HANA. So this is the timeline or the product line which you have to understand. So everything in SAP, revolves around these things. Okay, everything, 98, 99% of the things in SAP will revolve around it. And as a basis consultant, knowing this is more than sufficient for you to do your job in a best way, I would say, in a better and very nice way. This is the thing which you have to understand. You don't need to understand what is the, Fiori mobile thing or the cloud platform and those things. No. So even though the namings and different things are different, but at the end of the day, everything comes to you and touches the system. Because no matter what you develop, right? At the end of the day, that has to come and touch the ERP or the Business Suite or the S4HANA system. You got it? So that's why it is important only for you to understand this product portfolio, how SAP has evolved. Okay. So now okay. So before I proceed with what is SAP? So now what all we discussed? So we discussed ERP. Okay. I mean, with the magic book chain example. And then we have also gone through the history of SAP. I mean, what are the main product portfolio, how they evolved till. Okay. And then what is SAP? Before I proceed, any further questions here? Okay, good. So now I come to the questions. What is SAP? Okay. So yes, you understood the history 1972, how the architecture has evolved. Now we'll see. So they have this more than 40 years of experience. Okay. So they have around more than 30,000 of employees across the globe. And you see the customers, 293K customers, which is 293,000, which is a huge customer base. That's why when I say 95% of the world financial transactions, one or the other way they touch the SAP system. Okay. That's the presence they have in the ERP domain. So they have 130 countries, they have their employees in 130 countries, almost all countries, they have their company and then their employees working there. And they have these 190 countries, okay, in the customers basically. So which means across the globe, they have everywhere the customers, SAP customers. Okay. So yeah, I was explaining, right? When we say, let's take as an example, as I said, there are three kind of organizations, if we have to put it in a simple way. Small size organizations, who just started their startup, mid-sized organizations, and large organizations, for example, like your TCS. Okay. So now SAP has to cater their solutions to all sections, right? They also started as a small 5 people to this level. They have to cater. So, if you take the moment people say SAP implementation, oh God, this is so costly. So, that's the impression. It's a very big product, too many resources, too much costing, and too much of efforts to be needed, right? It's like a complete project. So imagine how many TCS employees are in Basis projects. Okay, how many of you work in SAP projects within SAP, right? So many thousands of employees are working on SAP. Okay, in TCS itself. Then take IBM, Accenture, and any other company who are supporting, right? So people have an impression that SAP is a very big product and it takes a lot of skill, efforts and money. Okay, that is the large industries. So what about the small scale industries? Because small can become a bigger industry later point in time. So that's why SAP has segregated its products in three simple things. So small means a startup who just want to implement SAP Business One. It's a simple solution. Just implement on a small server and then it will solve your problem. So as soon as you grow your business from this small guy and he will become a mid-sized, then SAP will tell that. So this is an important market strategy as well. Business all in one. SAP will tell that, hey, okay, SAP Business One is successful. Okay, now you have grown and you are upscaling. Okay, now take this mid-sized SAP Business all in one. So this guy is already using an SAP product and SAP will help him to move to the mid-size. So then he also win-win. So the client will win and then as an SAP, they're also winning a customer, right? They have grown from small to big. That is what they did in this first 40 years. So SAP has grown along with the customers. Okay, that is their secret or the success mantra for them in this last 40 years. So they took them as a small company. They helped them to grow and give them their software. And that guy, it is easy for him to expand. Okay. And then he will become a mid-sized organization. So then the mid-sized organization will become a large organization after a couple of years. Then SAP will tell that, oh, good, very good. Let's go with business suite. Let's implement it. So now again, he's already using an SAP product. SAP will handhold him. Okay. And SAP will suggest them that, okay, product wise, I can help you. But implementations, SAP support, they don't have a bandwidth to support because it's mainly a product based company. So SAP has opened its doors to multiple partners, right? So you have TCS, you have, SAP did not hold it to themselves that, I only support it or I only do it. So they have expanded their doors. They opened their doors to, TCS, IBM, Accenture, you name any company, Infosys, Wipro, all of them support SAP projects, right? So SAP has opened their ecosystem for the partners. They made them as partners, TCS and all. So what is happening now? So now SAP has played a very good customer. You move them from the mid-size to large size. And then for this large size support, you open the doors to the other vendors. They are supporting it. So now it's like everybody winning. Everybody is making happy. Everybody is happy. Customer is happy. He has grown to a bigger thing. SAP is happy. They have implemented their solution. Partners also happy. TCS, Wipro, IBM, everybody is happy because they got the support projects. You got it? So now you see, does any of them will lose? You see, if any one of them want to develop or a product or something, it's a loss for them only, right? They can't create an ecosystem like SAP did. Now everybody wants SAP to be sustained, right? So as a partner, suppose if you are supporting SAP projects, you think that, oh, SAP has to be survived. SAP has to be in a good condition, and then you provide support because you are making money out of it. And the customer, he has grown to a bigger level. So that is how SAP has grown from 5 people to some 30,000 or 40,000 employees and 300K customers. Yeah, that is how they are surviving. It's not just SAP. Everyone in its ecosystem wants SAP to live or breathe. Okay, so customer, so partners, everybody wants SAP to live. That is the secret for them. So they have opened their doors to everybody. Everybody is making money. Everybody is winning. It's a kind of win-win-win strategy. Okay, if I have to put it in a marketing. Okay, fine. Let's not too much get into the marketing thing. Now you understand. So small, mid-sized and large. So whatever you as a basis consultant, you always work on this SAP business suite, the right side one, large. Okay. So all your TCS projects or any project, you will be put into this business suite only, not in this business all-in-one or business one, because they are small scale and the customer can himself manage it. Okay. So now here you understand the SAP is how they're catering their solutions. So now you will always be in the right-hand side, business suite, as a basis consultant. So remaining very, very less, you will get support. Okay. Now, after we understood this strategy and all these things, SAP, do you think it's only an ERP? SAP is not only an ERP. Okay. So since I've stressed it more on the ERP, yes, they started their career or the company with ERP, but it is not only an ERP solution. Okay. So SAP has analytics. So SAP Analytics Cloud. See, you have an ERP solution and you have so much of data. Where do you store that data? You need to have a BW, SAP BW system. And then you have to run some analytics on it. And again, why do you want to go to Microsoft or somebody to provide you the analytics tools? Okay, here's their analytics tools are there. In-memory computing, as I said, real-time data, HANA, in-memory computing. And then now they have this cloud computing as well, SAP Cloud Platform. So, but these are all things you might not get too deep into it, but definitely we touch this ERP, in-memory computing a little bit. We have a session for 4 hours where we talk about how HANA works and stuff, and enterprise mobility. So mobile, these days, everybody wants to do this stuff over mobile. Okay. So SAP is not only an ERP. So now it has around 40 plus products in the market portfolio. All of them are integrated towards SAP ERP, but ERP is their core product. Okay. So as I said, yes, ERP is their core, and all these another 40 systems will complement ERP. To run businesses better. Okay. Because with the increased demand, these, mobiles, everyone wants to. So those products also SAP has developed, and they all will integrate with ERP, and then that helps to run them better. Okay. So what all we discussed, so far? So we discussed about, overview of, ERP clearly we understood with an example. And then we understood the history of architectures, R1, R2, ERP, and then SAP Business Suite S/4HANA. Okay. And then we understood what is SAP and what are the solutions or what are the industries SAP cater their services. Okay. So these are the 4 important things we have understood so far. So before I move to the SAP solutions, do you have any questions? I will give 1 minute before I explain about the solutions, what we are talking. So next we will go with I said, right, it's not only ERP, they have got 40 plus other solutions. I'm not going to go through all those solutions because it's relevant for you as a basis, guys. So I will try to put a platform, what are the important solutions and which you will be working or which are you already working. Okay. SAP solutions. Okay. So you see here, so many. SAP Business One for small scale, S/4HANA, SAP ERP, SAP Fiori. I'm just reading out some names. Okay. SAP SCM, SAP SRM, SAP BW, SAP Enterprise Portal, SAP Business Suite. You have so much, you go crazy if you go through all of them. That's why I was telling. It's very confusing for you if you start reading by yourself in an help.sap.com or somewhere. So that's where we have to structure and we will focus as a basis consultant what is important for you. Yes. So these are the few important areas which you have to look into it. So SAP ERP, as I said, it's the core. So SAP S/4HANA, so it is nothing but an ERP system. I will explain you at the end of the day what is SAP S/4HANA. But you treat these two as synonymous. If I ask you as a basis guy, for you all of these solutions are same. It doesn't matter what product SAP produces. That is the simplicity of basis. The best part of basis. So it doesn't matter what product it is, your role, your responsibility, your activities, everything is same, irrespective of the product. Only the functional guys and then the ABAP people will get confused about these products and different coding thing they may need it. But as a basis guy, for you, it doesn't matter. Okay. So SAP, irrespective of the system, SAP ERP, your administration is same. SAP S/4HANA administration is 90%. So there will be some 10%, when it comes to the Fiori, some different transactions and all. But as a basis guy, for you, if I have to put in one-liner, for you, everything is same. As I said, in ERP is like single version of truth, right? For basis guys, it's like simple. So first you remove that entire thing. If you want to grow your career in basis, remove that thing is, these many products and these things, first get out of it. For you, everything is same. Okay, you have got an engine or a mechanical engineer, you got an automobile. It's a tractor engine or lorry engine or anything, the components are same. right? Lever you have, but it's a bigger size, and then the engine size is bigger. That's it. So everything, the screws and all a little bit different, but the whole mechanical, the concept is same. Okay, the fuel combustion and then engine, it generates torque and power, and then the vehicle moves. But for lorry, they have their specifications like, IoT devices and blah, 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 cars and all. But as a basis guy, just imagine this way. For you, all of them are same, but it just with some extra additional configurations or the integration scenarios. Okay. So, but we'll not talk about all of them here. So if you understand one or two products of this as a basis thing, it's very simple. So we will talk mainly SAP ERP and then BW a little to some extent, but not in detail. But as I said, basis guy, everything is same. Okay, SAP ERP. Okay. As I said, in 2011, SAP has introduced SAP Business Suite. Okay, that's what they call this word. So remember this word, SAP Business Suite. Because they're no longer called an SAP ERP. So SAP ERP is a part of this business suite. Okay. And then, so now slowly I am taking you to what is currently you have a technically SAP, and then to the platform on which they have developed it. So SAP Business Suite, SAP Business Warehouse, BW, one of the product. So they all developed on the SAP NetWeaver platform. Okay, it's very important. What I said about the NetWeaver platform, I will talk later. But on top of this platform, they have developed Business Suite. Okay, so now let's talk about SAP Business Suite. So what I said in SAP Business Suite, we have ERP, SRM, CRM, Customer Relationship Management, PLM, and SCM. Okay, so these are the 5 crucial components for the business systems. I mean, all these are integrated. Okay, your customer relationship management data is integrated to the ERP. And then your SRM data is related to the ERP, SCM, supply chain management data is related. So whatever, they're all will help or complement ERP basically at the end of the day. Okay. So what SAP did is, I have so many things, let's combine them and I release an SAP Business Suite so that it is easy for the customer to implement. Right. So, hey, all your modules or all your functional core, supplier, customer, everything, I will integrate and I will give it as a package. If I have to put it, SAP Business Suite. Okay, in that ERP and these are all part. Okay, so yes, SAP ERP is a solution system. Business Suite is a combination or a bundled package. Okay, that's the differentiation. Now we will talk about SAP ERP mainly. So as given in the magic book example, right? So you see the main business components or the processes. What are they? Financial accounting. Okay, controlling I have explained. That's why I told you that example is very simple example where you understand these terms. Okay, warehouse management, books and all, sales and distribution. So real estate, for example, real estate is also important, right? You need to have a land to start your company. Okay, there also how much you are spending, how much land you need it, how much you have to expand, and cash management, how much cash I have, how many assets I have. So what is my treasury? So these are all the function modules, I would say. Okay. So function modules, they were all part of the ERP. So some are the space. So these are all, financial and all, they're all common for all the industries. For example, majority of the industries, I can't put it majority of the industries, but there are certain things like oil industry or the banking, they have their own specific requirements. Okay. For them, the most important part is for banking sector, cost and the data, financial data. And oil and gas, from upstream to the downstream, from the wells to how the oil is going. They need a separate module or separate structure of the ERP. Okay, for that, SAP has started with the industry solutions for them specifically. Okay, so now, summary. So now we are going to close up this getting started with SAP. What we understood so far, what enterprise resource planning is, right? So with the magic book example, what it will do the improve quality and efficiency by doing these things. Control processes, track and measure, and automating processes. And the most important thing is single version of the truth. Different cities or across the globe, everybody, whoever logs into the ERP system, they have the same product description, same thing. So it's a single version of the truth. Okay. As a CEO, you will get the live data, what is happening in my thing, so that you can control your thing. So what are the main competitors for SAP? Oracle, Microsoft, but mainly SAP when it comes to the ERP. Okay. Then what we discussed, history of SAP, right? How they have evolved from 1972. So what were the architectures they have? R1, R2, R3, right? This is the most recent one, and which you will work in day in and day out. In your SAP projects. And then they came up with the SAP NetWeaver platform. This is very important, guys. NetWeaver platform means majority of the systems still are on the NetWeaver platform. That I will, in detail, I will explain you the NetWeaver architecture when go, but understand this is the most important thing. And as I said, small to the bigger ones, SAP will offer SAP Business One or Business All-in-One. You don't need to remember these two. You don't work in a day in and day out, but just know that. So the most commonly used in the industries is SAP Business Suite. Okay. And after that, SAP came up with HANA in 2011 and then SAP S/4HANA in 2015. So this SAP S/4HANA is nothing but next version of the SAP ERP. Simple, if I have to put it. So SAP ERP, they've stopped with EHP 8. I told you, right? The most recent enhancement package is the EHP 8. Okay. So yeah, and SAP, it's not only an ERP, it has more than 40 years of experience, and these employees, they have analytic solutions, in-memory computing, cloud computing, enterprise mobility. You have a lot of things, but you focus mainly on the ERP solutions. Okay. And then we talked about SAP Business Suite. What it contains? SAP Business Suite. ERP, SRM, CRM, PLM, SCM, and others, these 5 components. So it's just that. So the complemented solutions of ERP are bundled together and then given as an SAP Business Suite. And the another one, so ERP, you get transactional data, right? Too much of transactions, selling and the purchase orders and all. So that data will be moved to the warehouse, business warehouse, okay, where you can do analytics or work on those data, right? To prepare reports or revenue, losses and profits, and that's why business warehouse comes into picture, okay? So all of these things are developed on NetWeaver platform, okay? So any questions, guys, before I go to the technical overview and architecture? Any questions? Or can you please acknowledge that no questions? I will proceed further. So yeah, now you got a fair idea about the architecture, all these things. Now we will slowly get into so it's worth spending this 1.5 hours so that you have a clear understanding of SAP, right? Now we will slowly deep dive into the technical things. And then from now onwards, whatever I'm going to talk, or it's more relevant for your work, and it's like more or less core thing. Okay, let's start now. So as I said, the most recent architecture is the R3 architecture. Okay, so database at the bottom of this architecture, and in the middle you have application and then the presentation. Simple. Database is something which you stores the data, and then it makes the records of the data what you enter into the system. The purchase orders, sales, or procurement, or whatever is it stores the data. So nothing much to do. So it is hosted on a different host. And then application. So database application is the middle section. So where your SAP systems. So let's say example, SAP ERP is in the middle. So you have an ERP system. Okay. And SAP ERP system connects to a particular database. Okay, instead of hosting on the same host, they've separated. They segregated logically these sections basically. Okay, and then so system administrators, which are you or whoever working in the basis, will have access to the application and database. Okay, so who are the administrators? So this is important. So what all things you have access? You people, you will be working on application and database as well, unless you have a separate team who is taking care of the DB. But basis means. We'll talk about basis roles and responsibilities after some time. It's very, very important that you understand database as well. Basis doesn't stop at this application layer, administration, ERP administration, but you have to have the database. Even though you have a database team, always try to upskill yourself in the database part. Okay, because you can't separate a basis consultant without database knowledge is not good thing. Okay. So, it's a half-baked one. So always your focus should be application and database. You have to be thorough. Okay. Whenever and then the presentation, again, system administrators have like SAP GUI, right? Or the mobile or the Fiori or the ones which you access to the system. So that is the front end, you would say, presentation layer. So here you have web app developers, end users, business users who will maintain that data. Everybody has access to the presentation layer, but application and database and presentation also you have the access. That's why Basis guys will deal with all these three layers. And as you grow your career, please focus on all three areas. Don't restrict yourself to that. Okay, I'm a Basis guy and I will restrict to the application and I will do only a presentation. No, you have to have the end-to-end scenario. I mean, end-to-end understanding of how your SAP system works. That's the complexity of Basis. So it's a very complicated module. SAP Basis is the very complicated or the very technically demanding module within SAP. Okay, because it has no limits. That's why you have to see in a simple thing. I am giving three layers, but it's very complicated thing. So, okay, why they have introduced this three-tier architecture in middle? So this one, application layer. So for flexibility, security, and performance. Okay, why we need flexibility? For example, your organization, the end users has increased, business has increased, or the industry has set up a new factory, right? So the data has increased.
What sets ZaranTech apart in SAP corporate training? It's our unique blend of expertise and innovation. We offer customized courses tailored to each client's needs, ensuring relevant, targeted learning. Our vast trainer database brings you wisdom from the best in the field. Need resources? Access our extensive training material repository anytime. We are all about measurable results, providing detailed student metrics to track progress. And we don't just teach, we build community. Join our thriving social media network, connecting learners beyond boundaries. With ZaranTech, you are not just training, you are transforming your SAP expertise.
So if you have one server, so that will, either you have to increase the server size. I mean, it's not easy to increase the server RAM and CPU. Instead of that, you just put in another application server or another server, so scale out, that is called. Scale up and scale out. Scale up is increasing the existing server resources. Scale out means one by one you keep adding. So that flexibility you have it. And then security. So, I mean, if you put all of them, these end users, by mistake, somebody assigns something and they can come here and they can stop the application, right? So application, you restrict the access or the OS access to only to the particular people. I mean, only to you or the administrators. Only authorized people can log into the server so that they don't tamper with the data. As I said, if you go to the table and if you make an entry change, if you add one more zero in the end, then it will become a huge amount, right? Or you can delete purchase order also. So only the authorized people can log into the particular server or the application. And then the performance, as I said, scale out. The more number of application servers you add, the more better will be the performance. The load balancing will happen. Okay, that's the reason behind introducing this three-tier architecture, and it's the most successful and most useful architecture so far in the SAP. Okay, so now you have got the overview of the three-tier architecture. Any questions before I move to the system landscapes?
So I needed to ask something. See, we have been working on the three architecture only. So sometimes when we are asked to provide connections to it, so like what exactly does it mean?
Connections to it means? Can you elaborate more?
Like when we are asked to open a connection for someone, for a client or someone. So what exactly does it mean?
No.
Like that we have to provide a support for R3 connection, then what?
RFC connection, you mean?
No, R3 connection only.
R3 connection. So you mean to open the connection for the product support or for what purpose?
Yeah, for the product support.
Okay. Good question. Let me come to this one back. Okay. You see the architecture, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is suppose some company, some expanded company, or the TCS implemented an SAP solution. Okay. Or we'll name some company. Let's put BP or HP. Okay. On HP means oil. Reliance. Okay. Reliance has implemented this SAP and TCS is supporting, which is you guys. Okay. You guys are supporting this SAP R3 structure. Yeah. Now, there is a problem. As an admin, you cannot able to solve the issue and you have raised a ticket to the product support. Okay. What do you mean by SAP product support? SAP. You have raised a ticket to the SAP that, hey, as an admin, I think this is a bug in the product and there is a problem in the code or the functionality of the given thing. Okay, now you raised a ticket to the SAP product support. Okay, SAP will tell you, okay, I can't understand from your from your description or whatever is this. I would like to log into the system and understand it. You got it? They would like to, SAP will ask you to log in to this system. That is when they place a request for opening the client or log into the system. R3 connection open. Okay. Now you have to assess for SAP product support guy to check. Does he need only the presentation layer? I mean, does it solve the purpose? That depends on the issue. For example, it's a code bug. He just needs an web access, right? I mean, just log into the SAP GUI and you give him the required authorization. And if he still say that I am not authorized, just run some SU54, there's a transaction, or he will let you know what authorizations are needed. Okay. We'll talk about how authorizations are assigned to that particular user. So he logs into this and he will check it. Oh, that is when I say connection opening means that is the meaning. So the product support, you are opening a connection to the product support guy to log into this particular system. Did it answer my question? Okay. Yeah. So opening connection not only on SAP level always, SAP GUI level. Suppose if it is a problem in the server level, they will ask you to open the connection to server as well. Okay. But in very, very rare scenarios. Okay. But sometimes it could be a problem with the database. They also ask you to open to the database. That's why you as an admin, you have to assess, with the experience and with the sense, oh, this could be a reason, this could be an application issue. Let me open to the SAP application. And if that guy will be expert, okay, the product support SAP, the moment they look into it, oh, hey guys, this is not an application issue, put it to the server. Then they will ask you to open server. So then you have to open the connection to server, then database. Okay. Clear?
Yeah. Thank you.
So perfect. Now we will go with the SAP system landscape. Okay. Again, most important thing for the basis guys. So as important as the 3-tier architecture, what I've explained. So you have, I think you might have heard it. I mean, you might have working in development, quality, and production. Okay. This is the 3 system landscape we call. Okay. Some customers will implement 4 system landscape. Some customers will implement 5 system landscape. I will explain you what are these things. So these are the majorly used thing. 70% of the customers use these 3 system landscape only. Remaining 20% you will go for 4 system landscape. Remaining will go with the 5 system landscape. But 5 system landscape is the very expensive one. Okay. First, let's understand this thing. So, okay, good. So you have 3 systems. So development, any SAP customer, for example, as I've given this magic book chain, if he is wanted to implement the SAP ERP. See, whenever I talk about this thing, you always connect to the ERP because the concepts as the basis case, the work is similar for everybody. I mean, any other component or any other product. Okay, that's why I always give an example of ERP only. So he's implemented an ERP system. Okay, so but if he has to fix something or if he has to develop something, right? Suppose if he has only one system, he will go and make the changes, and that time it has an impact for the end users, and his business is in a halt situation, right? That he don't want to do. So his business has to always up and running fine. For example, banking, always your banking is up and running. Your industry has to run. Everything has to run always. So you don't want to trouble your production system. That's why SAP has introduced 3: development, quality or the test system, production. And for example, I'm doing the training, or you have got the access to the test system, right? So even though you have access to your customer systems, right? Why we are not asking you to go and do these exercises over there? Because they are the production systems. If something you do, that will cause a business impact, right? So the end user will suffer, or there is a revenue loss if your SAP system is not running. So that is why we don't want you to do your testing and you don't want to do your trainings in the production or the live systems. Live system, that is also again, one live is a term once it goes live. Okay, production system. That's why SAP has developed 3 system. Always proposes to the customer minimum this landscape. So development system. So if you want to do a customizing, if you want to do some tweaking of a table, tweaking of certain thing, so that customizing you develop in the development system. Don't touch the production. So once you do the development, you move it to the test system. Okay. So in test system, you test the functionality. So this test system is almost a replica of the production system, most of the cases. So test system do have the functional data of the production. Okay. Because that's why I'm not sure if you guys heard of it, a system refresh. Some people will do every 3 months once refresh. Some people will do every 6 months. Some people will do yearly once. What is the system refresh? You get the production data and you put it in the test system. Reason? Because whatever you are testing, it has to be a production-like system, right? Suppose if you are testing it in a different system, what is the use? That functionality that may not work in the production. That's why your production and quality of the test system always have to be majorly in sync in terms of the data, at least functional data. So your development will go to the test. Okay, let me go to the next slide. So your development will go to the test system. So you see this truck through transports that we will talk how this transport will be moved. And then once you test it, this functional data, so you do a testing. So let's say okay, SAP ERP example, as I said, this test system will have the functional data of the production. Okay, you test it and then you move it to the production. So since you have tested it in product and test has the data similar to the production, then your code most likely to work properly in the production. You got it? So this is the 3-system landscape. So what do I mean by the 5-system landscape or the 4-system landscape? Okay, some of the customers, okay, like for example, Nestle or BP, British Petroleum. So they're big customers. They have oil and BP is oil, and then Nestle is like chocolates, and they have a huge retail. So this manufacturing factories and everything. So what they think is, oh God, no matter whatever it is, my production should not get impacted. Whatever the bug big fix you have taken to the production, my production system should not get impacted. I need extra layers of landscape. Okay. So for them, spending on the infrastructure is nothing. I mean, because as you know, for one system, you are keeping 3 landscape, right? Development, one system, test system, it's an extra cost for setting up this landscape. But for those guys, it doesn't matter, because if their production system is impacted for 1 hour, they have $1 million of loss. They don't want to get into that situation. So what they do is they will put one more system here. So left-hand side, sandbox. I think you might have heard it, sandbox. And then here, production, before production, they will put pre-production. Okay, that is a 5-system landscape. So whatever you want to try, first you try in the sandbox. That's like a playground. You do it, then you take me to the development, then you move me to the test, and then you move to the pre-production. Here, one more system. So where you test again, and then you move to the production. So it's a 5-system landscape, but which you rarely encounter. But 3-system landscape is the SAP minimum recommends to anybody. So 99% of the customers will have this 3-system landscape. Okay, I mean 5-system landscape also has these 3 systems. I mean 3 systems, but minimum SAP requirements. So now let's summarize this. So 3-tier client server architecture. So this is how it looks. So database, application, presentation, and then you have, it's there. So why do you need this minimum application layer? Flexibility, security, and performance. And then you have presentation layer, SAP GUI. So now you understood the development, quality, production, and why do you need a 3-system landscape? And apart from 3 systems, some customers implement 5 systems. That's it depends on their budget. Okay. So standard or customizing or the web thing, whatever you have developed will move to the test, and then it goes to the production. Okay. So all these systems, you administrators have the access. That's why that is the whole purpose of this slide. Okay. So development, you have to work, quality, you have to work, production, you have to work. So for others like business users and end users, there might be a limitation, but for you guys, as I said, any system, your work is same. I mean, irrespective. So that is the simplicity of the basis, but it is also very complicated technically. So simplicity is you have access everywhere. I mean, you development, for example, developers, web developers, they only have access to development. Okay, because they can't touch the test system, and the quality guys will be there, functional testing guys. And then production, no expected to be no issues. Even though there is an issue, basis guy has to import here. And then if there is an issue, again, he has to import to the development guys only. Hey guys, this transport is causing a problem, or this change is causing a problem. And then that guy has to fix in development only. So which means he's not, first of all, developers are not supposed to change anything in the production. Sorry, this one. Yeah. So that's why you have access to everything, and you are the guy who has to intimate to the respective people. Okay. So you have access everywhere. I mean, you will be responsible for administering all those things. Okay. So thank you guys. So before I proceed with any other module, any questions? Now it is important for us to understand the SAP architecture and some of the slides which I already explained in this one, but I will slowly take you to the NetWeaver. Okay. After that, I will see. Hope you're getting the flow, right? So what I'm going to do now is SAP Business Suite I have introduced you. On top of it, on which platform it has developed? NetWeaver, right? On NetWeaver, so see, overview of SAP, you understand ERP, SAP Business Suite. Now I will take you to the NetWeaver. And from here, your core thing will start. So on SAP NetWeaver, everything is developed. Your business suite, product portfolio, ERP, everything is developed. So now we understand SAP NetWeaver's architecture. After understanding the SAP NetWeaver's architecture, we will understand the architecture of SAP system. Okay. What all, ABAP-based systems or Java-based systems. And then we will slowly log into the SAP system. Okay. That's the flow I'm following now. Now, this we have explained, founded in 1972. What is SAP? So key features, SAP ERP is the main product for just recapping before I go to this thing. So SAP history I've explained. So what are the products they have developed, and just in a more representative or the technical facts, some of them for your reference purposes, documentation purposes. So they have started in 1976, 72, and then slowly they have evolved R1 to R2, R3, and so on, so things. So technical solutions, I just explained. So business suite is the key, or the in business suite, ERP, CRM, SRM, and apart from that, there are 40 plus solutions they have. So as a basis, guys, for you, R1 to R3 architecture, and then business suite applications are more than sufficient. But anything is a similar, same way for you guys. Okay. So ERP packages, as explained, ERP 6.0, EHP 8 is the latest one. And these are the component, PeopleSoft from Oracle and JD Edwards, and these parts also I have covered. Okay. So this is in a different way of representation. So business one for the small scale or the basic functions I explained you, right? Small, mid, and large scale. So by business by design, so software on design, it's a small size only, this also. So business all in one for a mid size, and SAP Business Suite, this is the most important. All of you will work on this SAP Business Suite for a large scale enterprise. Okay. And then, so some of the industry solutions, as I said, aerospace, there are specific industries, automotive, oil. So for them, SAP has they tweak the ERP and provide some solutions. For a table, structures, and everything. So that's why they call it as an industry solutions. Okay. So this is a simple portfolio. So basic elements of SAP solution, as I said, business suite. SAP solution will be developed on the SAP NetWeaver. Majority of them. Okay. I'm not restricting to this, but don't take otherwise. Everything is developed on SAP NetWeaver. No. So there are in-memory platform like HANA, there is SAP Cloud Platform, but 90% of the solutions, whatever they're in the market, are on the SAP NetWeaver, and this is where Basis guys are working so far. So that's why it is important. Any SAP solution, majority of them are on the SAP NetWeaver. This we will discuss in detail. And then you have SAP Business Suite. As I said, it's a combination of ERP, CRM, and other, or NetWeaver-based solutions. Okay, whatever they developed on NetWeaver, they packaged it and they sold it. So these My SAP and these are small scale industries. They have already business all in one and all. There we don't work regularly, but just for your information, this part. Okay. So business suite, just explained in the other. So these are all components are combined in that: CRM, SRM, SCM, and PLM. And then very good. Now we are slowly getting to the NetWeaver. So SAP NetWeaver, good. So key features. SAP is support, as I said, SAP Business Suite applications, ERP, SRM, CRM, PLM, everything is developed on the SAP NetWeaver. Okay. So as I said, what is SAP NetWeaver? It's a platform. When I say platform, what all things it can do? You can develop SAP products. Okay. And suppose you have developed an SAP system, you want to integrate with a non-SAP system. Okay. Or sometimes you may get request to make a connection, ABAP connection or TCP IP connection, or your mobile application. You developed something and you want to integrate with SAP. That is possible if you have NetWeaver. That's why platform means it is much more than an SAP system. So you can integrate non-SAP solutions to this solution, and you can develop the features using the ABAP or Java. So, and you can bundle components. Okay. So it has a lot more features. So these are the few key features. So you can develop applications, you can integrate and you can also develop the industry solutions. What I mentioned, aerospace, banking, oil and gas, which has a specific requirements. So those things you can develop. So that is possible with the platform. Okay, 1 second. So these are the key features of SAP NetWeaver. Okay, so see this slide. I mean, in future when you are, so why I put these slides is in future when you are applying for a certification or something. So, in a nutshell, I can explain you, but it is important that the terminologies, doing a job is different practically and writing exam is different. So in automobile, a car can be repaired by a guy who has not done an engineering, but he with a practice he will do that. But if you want to write an engineering automobile exam, then he has to prepare for this one. So if you want to go for certification, but you have to understand this, technical terms. Use case. If you want to build, as I said, so if you understand the term platform, then NetWeaver becomes much easier for you. It is very easy to understand. SAP NetWeaver is a platform. Suppose if you want to build composite applications, SAP and non-SAP applications. So NetWeaver can provide this feature, SAP composite environment, that environment name. In a certification, you may get a case. Let's say if you want to develop a non-composite, build different applications, what module or what part of the SAP NetWeaver you will use. So which is SAP composition environment. Data warehousing. As I said, if you want to store the data, what do you use? SAP BW. This part of the solution you use. So integrating and self-servicing content with the NetWeaver portal. For example, end user. So he will launch an URL and he will see the data. He will place orders over there. That is the NetWeaver portal. So that is provided by the enterprise portal. It's again a different product. See, these are the things. Building integration scenarios. Okay. Your ERP to the external world scenarios. How do you do? PO, process integration. Now they call it as PO. So SAP PI is the thing you use. And mobility, SAP NetWeaver Mobile. So, sorry, this is automatically moving. 1 second. So this is the theoretical part. What corresponding capability of SAP NetWeaver can provide this particular use case? This is the part. Okay, now you understand. So NetWeaver is a platform. So it can provide these many capabilities or these many features. Okay. So now hope you get some glimpse of NetWeaver. Okay. So if I have to put it in a clean slide, this is how I do. So SAP NetWeaver, it's a platform. It has security and identity management. So, security and identity management, earlier as Microsoft has this LDAP and others, security. This is also an important identity. Who has to log into the system and who should access it. So that also NetWeaver provides it, a provision to provide control the security. Okay. And then lifecycle management. So, for example, ERP, how do I upgrade? When do I have to upgrade? What is my latest releases? So that lifecycle management is possible. And application foundation. So if you're developing some particular application, where do you start? How do you do that? So that part is covered in this one. And then integration, processes, people, so composition, as I explained, these key pieces. So these are all in a pictorial way I've put. Okay. Good. Now you understood the NetWeaver. Now the most important part. Okay. So SAP NetWeaver application server. Okay. This is where the Basis guys comes into picture. Right. So you might have heard dialog instance, application instance, right? Or central instance. Have you heard of these terms? Okay. It's an ABAP system. It's a Java system. Right? SAP
Yes.
Java system. Yes. So these terms you might be confused. So now I will try to slowly, I will get into that level. So, sorry, I just read what. Okay, good. SAP NetWeaver. Now we are slowly getting into the application server. Okay. So you have a presentation layer, SAP GUI browser. This is least bothered about it. Leave it. So this component we are least bothered going forward. It's just an interface, how you log into the system. What part is important? What part is important? Application level. So NetWeaver, as I said, you can provide an ABAP system. ERP on ABAP. There is no ERP on Java. Some of them Java system, enterprise portal. It's a Java-based system. In process integration, PA, right? PA, you have this ABAP plus Java systems. Okay. So earlier they used to call the dual stack systems. ABAP plus Java, BW also ABAP plus Java, but SAP no longer recommends these dual stack systems. Okay, so there's no point in learning it now. 5 years back, they discontinued it. So don't worry about the dual. Some customers may have it, but if you understand Java and ABAP independently, that should be more than sufficient for you to troubleshoot the dual stack system problems. You got it? So there are two levels of SAP systems developed in application: SAP ABAP system, SAP Java system. Okay, on Java-based systems. Database doesn't matter. Whether it is a Java system or a ABAP system, they all connect to the database. So for a database, just understand that it has nothing. I mean, it will store the data from anybody. Okay. So now, SAP NetWeaver, as I said, it's a platform, right? On the platform, you have to develop something, right? How do you develop? You need a coding language, right? So there are two coding languages, ABAP. So ABAP is an SAP's coding language that we all know, right? So it's their code. ERP is developed on ABAP, or SCM, ARM, anybody thing is developed in ABAP. But when you say SAP NetWeaver is a platform, so that anybody non-SAP applications also should be integrated. How do you do that? So what is the other coding language majority of the applications use? Java. So that's why on a platform only these runtime environments comes into picture, guys. That's you try to understand. Whenever somebody says it's a platform, so there should be a runtime environment to run. I mean, code has to run, Python or whatever is it. So in this case, NetWeaver platform has two runtime environments, ABAP and Java. When you say SAP system, ABAP system, so it's an ABAP-based coding. So when you say SAP Java system, it's a Java-based coding. So these two things can enable the integrations to non-ABAP. Non-ABAP means majority of them are in Java. So that will facilitate this integration scenarios. So we are not talking about the other things as well. NetWeaver has those capabilities, but 95% of the things comes into these two categories, ABAP and Java runtime environment. Okay. So now ABAP runtime. So, that just for your theory understanding thing, ABAP is a programming language developed by SAP that we all know. So many business applications in the SAP system, they're written in the ABAP. Okay. So ABAP has been optimized in such a way, high scalable business applications. If you want to scale out and customers can also use their ABAP workbench, they can develop their customize or develop their applications, modify these standard applications as well. Okay. There's a lot of facilities. So this is about the basics of ABAP runtime environment. Now let's come to the Java. So Java also is another mostly used enterprise edition, Java. So currently Java is taken by Oracle. Okay. So earlier, first understand the Java, then I'll give you the background. Java is a simple object-oriented platform independent. I mean, irrespective of the platform, NetWeaver or cloud or anything, whatever platform, you can use the Java over there. It's independent, platform independent programming language. Okay, so it enables you to write the browsers, web pages, and these are all development related things. So you don't have to worry about it. But know that Java is this, and on top of it also people will develop their applications, browsers or whatever it is. So NetWeaver facilitate both Java and ABAP. Okay, so future. If you ask me the future of SAP, so slowly the Java will phase out. SAP would like to kick out Java. You know why? Okay. I'll give you just 1 minute time. I will tell you why. Because so that you remember this. That in future, okay, I don't have to support these Java systems or they get rid of, SAP get rid of them. Okay, I'll give you a simple example. Why? See, earlier Java is open source. Okay, I mean anybody can use, like Linux. It's open source. Anybody can go to Google and so nobody owns it. You develop your product, you work on it, that's it. Java open source. Then SAP thought, okay, it's open source, anybody can use it, fine. Let my NetWeaver also, people also develop there. But the problem is, Java slowly acquired by the Oracle. Why Oracle? As I said in the initial, Oracle is a competitor to SAP, right? So, I mean, they both are competing each other in ERP module. In terms of the database also, SAP came up with a HANA because to counter Oracle DB. So they both are competing from last 10-15 years. So what Oracle did is, okay, I'm not able to compete with SAP directly on the ERP front. Okay, let me do one thing. So all these components like Java, all these parties, third-party modules or small things, let me acquire. So Oracle has started this backbeating. I mean, they have acquired all these Oracle and Java, everything. Now what Oracle did, they started charging SAP. So if you want to use this Java runtime environment, you have to pay me. You pay me the license and you take it. And then they started charging exorbitantly. I mean, too much of money, too much of price, those licenses. That's where the problem. So that's why SAP started, okay, I don't want your database, Oracle, please, I will migrate to my HANA. You see majority of the databases are migrated already in the last 4-5 years. Now you see HANA database or the Sybase. Sybase is also acquired by the SAP. So it's an SAP's database, right? So now you get a glimpse. Now you understand. So SAP will phase out this Java in future. So what is the counter? Fiori. So that is also in your course curriculum. One day we will talk about the Fury. Fury is going to counter the Java. So that's the marketing strategies, but understand this. But still, majority of the components, okay, majority of them are with the SAP. I mean, systems are both are with ABAP and Java, supported by NetWeaver systems. Okay, still there, but slowly in future, after 5 years, we don't see any Java systems, or SAP will come up with the complete Fury gateway-based systems like that. Okay, so good. Now you understood that NetWeaver, two kinds of systems, ABAP and Java systems will be available, SAP systems, whatever you hear. So good. This slide is not important for you right now. So, so mainly client server architecture. This is again useful for you when you go for a certification. So hardware oriented view means you are a client and then you have a server. So, sorry. They both are connected through LAN or Wi-Fi. So then that is the hardware oriented view. I am a client and I will connect you to the server. That's it. That is a hardware. But in SAP, the terminology of client and server is different. So client is somebody who requests for a service, and server is somebody, what is happening? Server is somebody who provision of a service. That's it. It's a software oriented. So don't get confused when you hear the client and server and this terminology. Client means the one which you request the service, and the server is something which will provide the service. It can be interchangeable. So it is a more like a process-based architecture. So it's a process one. So leave about this client and server separately. So process one will request for the service. So that time you will call it as a client, and process two will forward the service. That time you will call it server. So okay. So that is the software-oriented view. So it's a process-based architecture. Just remember this term. In certification sometimes they will use this one. So SAP is architecture is mainly based on the process-based. So process one will request for the service. Process two will request for the provide the service. So three-tier architecture I've already explained. So presentation layer. So just a recap. So because I'm going to slowly to the instance level, that's why I'm recapping again here. Presentation, application, and database. Explain presentation layer or the client layer, information purpose. If you want to read it theoretically later. So and then database servers you have. Good. So three-tier architecture is done. Now, what is an SAP instance? Okay. What is it? So what is an SAP instance? So you heard the term, right? SAP system. Okay. What is SAP? You understood as a company or as a product level. Okay. Leave about it. Keep it aside. Now, we are slowly getting into the technical details. What is an SAP instance? Okay. Or if I have to put it, what is SAP system and what is SAP instance? What is the difference between these two? Okay. And in SAP instance, what are the varieties of instances? Okay. Don't get confused. I'll clarify all of them in a clean way. Okay. So fine. This is the most important, guys. As a basis, guys, please pay attention on this slide. I'm going to explain very cleanly on this topic. As I said, presentation layer, we don't bother. So it's just a SAP GUI, the way you log into the system, web browser, you don't bother. And this is the application level. Okay. And bottom, three-tier architecture, database level. Database level also, database is separate, leave it aside. So here is the complexity or the important part. Application means we are talking about SAP application. Okay, let's take ERP. Okay, so you have computer A. Whenever we say computer A, computer B, computer C, what does it mean? It's a server. Let's, for the simplicity purpose, I have put it as a computer. So it's a server A, server B, or computer C. Simple understanding. So you in an instance, so SAP system comprises of all these components. That's an SAP system. Okay. So SAP system, you connect through the SAP GUI and then to one of these instances, and then SAP system connects to the database. It's a package. I mean, it's a combination of all these three interconnected SAP system. It's when I say ERP system. Okay. When I say instance, okay. So you might have heard log instance, primary application server, or a secondary application server. Now that is the terminology I will explain next. So application level, these comes into play. What is central instance? What is central services instance? What is dialog instance? Okay. Central instance is something which contains your message server and enqueue in ABAP case. Okay. That's the central instance. Central services instance, it is in the Java case. They call it as a Java process, central services instance. What is the dialog instance? Let's say you have a CI, central instance, and then you want to scale out. You want to install the another servers to do the computing and logical thing. So you can scale out. So you can install another dialog instance, 3, 4, 5, 6, you can scale out. So some SAP systems has 10 application instances. So application instances, dialog instances, they called synonymous, don't get confused. So they have, or application servers also. So the dialog instance and these instances are nothing but application servers. Okay, you can have up to 10 or 15 or whatever is it based on your load and thing. So that's the difference between SAP system is the connectivity of all these things, SAP system, and then instance is central instance has specific services like NQ. Sorry, somebody is speaking. Okay, and then we have the scale out scenarios, dialog instances and others. Okay, that's the difference. Now, good. So any questions here? Okay, so what I will do is, now you understood the difference between SAP system and SAP instance. In the next, I will talk about only this SAP application servers architecture. That time you will get much more clarity on what is going to happen in this particular application level. Okay, what is the central instances, what services it has. But now you just understand that, okay, in my application level, I am going to have a central instance, central service instance. Okay, so this part is just try to understand for now. Yeah, sample system landscape, this I've explained. Okay, now we understood what is NetWeaver, what is the landscape. I mean, in NetWeaver, SAP system, SAP instance and things. What is the SAP S/4HANA? Okay, I told you, I'll explain, right? What is SAP S/4HANA? Okay, so it is the next version of the ERP. There were a lot of modifications done. So ERP can be installed on any database. Okay, you might have, so you can install it on a Sybase database, you can install on Oracle, you can install it on DB2. Okay, various databases are there. So ERP can be installed in any database. But SAP, what they did in 2011, I told you, right? They have introduced HANA. So SAP S/4HANA. What does mean by S and what is fourth and what is this S4 mean? Anybody knows? Anyone? What does this S/4 means? HANA, fine. It is on HANA. That's all right. I mean, a HANA database. What does this?
It's for business 4.0.
Yeah, you almost nearly done. Yes, for? Yes. So 4.0 or fourth generation, some people call it. Very good. So what I said is, business suite I've explained, right? Business suite has what? ERP, SRM, PLM, or SCM. So it's a next generation business suite they are calling, which means it's not a next version of the ERP, next generation business suite. Okay. So S stands for simplified suite for HANA, they call exact terminology. SAP simplified suite for HANA. So that word is very, very important when somebody asks you in a nutshell, what is SAP S/4HANA? That simplified term is the most important thing. Okay. Why? Because you will easily understand what is this S/4HANA. So what they did is in ERP, there is too much of coding. Unnecessary coding and earlier coding, too many lines or the rows. The bigger the code and the expensive is your statement to fetch something. So what they did is they simplified it, that coding. They have removed the number of lines. Okay. So, and then they have changed it is on the HANA database, right? It is powered by the HANA real time. So HANA is much more capable in terms of the RAM, resources, everything. So what they did is column-based store. Right? So the select can happen faster in a column store. When we talk about the HANA, I will explain what is this column. But now just understand that using the capabilities of HANA and the user experience of the theory, what they did is they have simplified the code. If I have to put it in a very crude way. So they have simplified the code in such a way that it is much faster, excellent performance, and real time you can generate the reports and stuff. That's what they did with this HANA. That is why it's very important when you say simplified suite for HANA. So earlier we had SAP Business Suite, which had ERP and all. What they did is they have simplified it by adjusting the code, by removing the number of lines, by making it much more simpler and easily accessible and using the capabilities of HANA. Okay. So when I say SAP HANA, so this is the thing. It's very simple. So, I mean, you don't have to bother about anything. So it's just an ERP. with reduction of the code and optimization has been done. That's it. If as a basis administration, if you want to understand it, if you keep this in mind and read SAP S/4HANA, you will understand the whole thing, whole scenario. So in this SAP S/4HANA, what all we have? On-premise edition and cloud edition. Forget about cloud edition. So that only SAP provides. On-premise edition, some of the customers have implemented it. So cloud edition, no support vendors like TCS and others won't support this S/4HANA cloud unless you are part of the SAP's team, SAP's cloud team. Okay. And then SAP HANA platform, as I said, it's also a platform. So it will run on the HANA as a database. You can do application extensions like integration with non-SAP application or stuff. And as I said, right, you pay attention. I told Java's history, right? What Oracle did to Java. They acquired and they started charging. So what SAP is doing with SAP HANA, remove. You see, there is no Java here, Fiori. So Fiori is an HTML based and it's open source. So SAP is using the Fiori. That's where you hear a lot of terms of Fiori and Fiori interface and all these things. So that it's in a nutshell replacing or countering the Java. Okay, countering the Oracle. So they have stopped supporting those things. So this is the SAP's. So now you understood SAP's architecture, business suite, and then NetWeaver, and what is SAP system, what is this thing, and SAP S/4HANA architecture. So now we are going to talk about the NetWeaver architecture of the SAP NetWeaver application server. Okay. So disclaimer and then agenda in this module. So we're going to talk about the NetWeaver application server's architecture, ABAP and Java process we talk, and identify the different types of the NetWeaver systems, which is like Java and ABAP only. Fine. So as I explained clearly, NetWeaver is a platform where you can develop in Java, and it also has the integration capabilities where you can integrate the non-SAP applications.
Our comprehensive student metrics ensure top-notch learning experiences. We track engagement through attendance, participation, and video interactions. Performance is measured via quiz scores and assignment submissions. We monitor learning behaviors, including time spent and revisit patterns. Our metrics cover social learning, course completion rates, and even post-course success. With technical data on platform usage and device information, we optimize every aspect of your learning journey.
Okay, so NetWeaver, NetWeaver systems means, so this business suite systems, right? All those systems can be installed on what all databases. So here you see, this one will technically explain you. So user interfaces. So Java GUI, Web GUI, okay, and then Windows GUI. For example, SAP GUI, the one which and you also have a Java GUI. For example, people who are using the Mac, right? For example, I'm using a Mac and I always have a Java GUI. And then you also have a web-based GUI. So these are the presentation things. So NetWeaver provides these facilities. Languages, ABAP, Java, you see the screen, the mouse pointer, Java. And relational databases. So, what all databases these NetWeaver systems support? So, NetWeaver systems means ERP, SCM, CRM, these things. So, they can be installed on Oracle, SQL Server, which is a Microsoft SQL-based thing. But Microsoft is one of the SQL Server providers, but others also. MongoDB and other DBs also. Whoever is on SQL Server-based concept, they can use. So, and then DB2, which is IBM-based database. So you still find some systems with the DB2. Some of the customers are still using. For example, banking. As I said, they don't want to migrate. So they don't want to touch their data. That's why they still continue and they will leave it for another 20, 30 years also. Okay, but still SAP has to support DB2. So the latest version of the DB2 is the DB6. Okay, and then MaxDB. MaxDB is the SAP's database. So Sybase is not listed here. Sybase is also one of the SAP's database. And the important thing, operating system. So that's why Basis is very complicated. So you have to work on any of these database based on the customer what database he has installed. And operating system, again, different permutations and combinations. So Oracle and AEX, Oracle HPUX, you see. So you always get 30 to 40 flavors of combinations. As a basis guy, you have to work. So operating systems, AEX, it's an IBM, HPUX, HP based Linux, but anything with Unix flavor, right? Those are all similar. I mean, Solaris, OS 400, ZOS, Windows is the only one. So SAP has stopped Windows also. I mean, they will stop it slowly. But the most important thing is you always try to excel in the Linux or the Unix operating system. Both are same. Okay. If you know AIX or HPUX or Solaris or Linux, anything, SUSE. SUSE is the most favorite one, SAPs. So all upcoming S4HANA, all the systems, or if you really want to learn Linux, you focus on the SUSE Linux, SUSE Linux. That is most important. And the hardware platforms, okay, these servers. So Fujitsu, HP, IBM, Sun, Dell. And in addition to that, now we have the cloud providers, right? Infrastructure providers like Azure, Microsoft, Google. So there also that we have a 1 2 hour session at the end. Okay, we will talk about these cloud platforms also. So these are the hardware providers. Okay, so NetWeaver or the NetWeaver based systems have these many combinations, or customers can implement in with this any of these following options, given options. Okay, so yeah, this is the most important thing, guys. The terminology, what you use. So 7.1 NetWeaver applications, NetWeaver 7.1 and higher. So there were some changes. So I think you still call CICA, right? Central instance, but central instance is renamed to primary application servers. So, but again, these terms are important, but traditionally when we are supporting the systems, you can use any name, what you want. Central instance, still people call, but when you are writing a certification, you will get wrong mark. Okay. So 7.1. So currently they call it as the central instance is a PAS, primary application servers. So all the dialog instances, or the scale out or the extra additional application servers, AAS. So this is very specific. You will get a question on this for sure in certification if you are writing. Okay. So the Java dispatcher, sorry, who's moving this? So Java dispatcher in the earlier Java systems, they are replaced by the ICM process. So the SDM, software deployment manager, what was using earlier, it's been discontinued. So the Java central service comprises a gateway process. So these are the key important areas changes. What happened with the 7.1 in 2015 with the latest architecture. Okay. So you always know about the latest architecture only. Don't go with the old, because the latest, if you know the old one, easily you can sync. Because if you know the old one, then latest syncing is very difficult. Okay. So go in reverse, latest to the back, because the concepts are same. Only thing is the naming convention they might have changed. Okay. Good. So when we say in a web application, so I'm going to see, I've explained the flow. I keep reminding you this. We understood SAP Business Suite, ERP, CRM, and other systems. They are developed on the NetWeaver. Okay. NetWeaver has an ABAP application server and Java application server. Now we are talking about the ABAP application server. Okay. So see, these are the processes you have in an ABAP application server. Okay. So gateway, ICM, ABAP dispatcher. ABAP dispatcher is the work process. Dialog, D for dialog, V for update, B for background, S for spool. Okay. So the scalability you can do additional application servers. AAS. Okay. As I said, correct term. Additional application servers. So you see 1, 2, 3 here. So 3 is scalability. You can increase them. So central services instance, again, certification. These questions are very important. Central services, message, even in supporting also. So what does it has? Message server and MQ server. So if you stop this central services, that's it. Your system is completely down. Okay. So when you are working on, but if you stop one of these applications, see, you have 3 application servers here. If you stop one application servers, still the system is up and there's no end user impact. So ABAP, other 2 application servers can serve the purpose. But if you start the ABAP central services instance, you're done. I mean, your system goes down. So why this NQ server is so important, guys? Anybody? Why this NQ is separated? See, you have dialog thing, but why you have only one NQ server in this system? Why this is put it in the central services system? One instance is specifically called as a central services, and why we have put it NQ over there? Anybody? Okay. So good. So fine, I'll explain you. So NQ is something which will take care of the locking mechanism. Okay. So which means you logged into the SAP system and hi, somebody is explaining. Okay. Fine. Okay. So you logged into the SAP system and then you are making some changes. So while you are making the change, you don't want somebody to go and update something else over there, right? So you place a lock mechanism. The system will place a lock, the process make a lock mechanism over there. So NQ is mainly takes care of that locking mechanism, so that only one person can make change at one particular point. But that's the NQ server. Very, very important thing. So if you mess up with that locking thing, then system will lose the track of what is happening in the system. That's why they kept this NQ server separately. And that instance where this NQ is residing, they called it as a central services instance. Okay. So this is very important. It is a high availability cases also. You might have heard cluster scenarios. So where you have an ERS server, NQ replication server. Okay. So why do you need only for NQ replication server? Because remember the term single point of failure. Why do you need one? For what systems you need? See here, sorry, somebody's spoken. So application servers, they are not single point of failures. Here you see. So even though if your one application server goes down, you have two more application servers, as I said. But if your central instance goes down, your entire system is down. So if somebody asks you to put a cluster or a high availability, what do? You mainly pick the central service instance, because your message server is one server in the system and NQ is also one. So you need a high availability for that. Single point of failures. Okay. Now you got this concept, right? So NQ is single process in the system, and then message server. Message server, what it will do? So when you do log into the SAP GUI, it will do the load balancing. So which of my application servers are free? Which of my application servers has some processes free? Okay, and waiting for the worker. Okay, for that, this will do the central instance will do the load balancing. Okay, so once the message server decides, okay, where my request has to go, and it has passed to the ABAP AS. Let's say take this one. You take this one. For example, the first one here in this one. So 3-layer, right? First service. So my message server passes the request to the dispatcher. Okay, hey, ABAP, you first one, you are free. Take this. Then it will assign the dialog and update and background and the spool, whatever based on the request. If it is just a user transaction dialog, and if it is a database update process and background process, and spool means printing. Okay, so this is the first point. So SAP GUI, the moment you log in, the request goes to the message server. Message server will look for which application is free, and then it will pass your request over there, and then your dispatcher will take care of based on the activity. You understand now? Okay. Now you have some descriptions here. Message server, what it will do. See, communication between the distributions. This is a technical definition, but simplified things I have understood. Message server will do the load balancing. Dialog work process will do the requests. I mean, based on the user transactions or simple updates or checks or things. So it will do the dialog. And then NQ, as I said, it's a locking mechanism. And then gateway service between SAP systems. I mean, one system to system A to system B communication, this gateway. So ICM mainly takes care of in Java. So web-based request comes to the system, right? So the ICM Internet Communication Manager. So it checks those things and then it will assign for that particular task Java process. Okay. So these are the definitions of this process, but just try to understand this basic architecture. So as I explained, components of the SAP NetWeaver, ABAP dispatcher. I mean, once you receives the request from the message server, dispatcher will pass it to based on the work to the dialog, spool, or update, or NQ. Okay, these are the main components of the NetWeaver application server. So this is the Java architecture. Okay. So you have in Java, as I said, there is no dialog, update, spool, and things. It's a simple server 1, server 2, server 0, like that. So, I mean, you see, yes, like this. So it's a simple, I would say, but you may not have too many Java systems. I don't know based on your product or the customer, but just know that. So Java primary application server, Java central services. As I said, here also same concept. So central services instance have the Java message server and Java NQ server. So wherever there is a message server and NQ server, you just call it as an central services instance. So all other instances are the primary application or the secondary application. So ICM, as I said, right? What will ICM do? All the web-based requests, whatever comes to the system, ICM will receive those requests and it will assign the task to the Java server nodes. Okay. So ICM is more or less equivalent to the what? Dispatcher. If you want to compare with ABAP. ABAP dispatcher will assign to the dialog, update and others, but ICM here will assign to the Java server node. Okay. So Java-based systems, yeah, this is fine. So this is same thing. Java environment, Java dispatcher. So Java server process just explained here. So you have an ICM that this is the old description, but here is this is the latest. So you have a host, Java primary application server, ICM, and then server nodes. It's a very simple Java architecture. Okay. So ABAP services. Okay. These are the information purposes. So, I mean, if you want to go through whatever I have explained so far, to refresh it, ABAP runtime system, it provides ABAP application servers for an internal and external communications. So message server, what it will do, communication between the distributed dispatches in the ABAP stack, load balancing, if I have to put it. So as soon as you log into the SAP GUI, request goes to the message server. Message server will communicate. It's a theoretical explanation here. So same thing happens. Communication between distributed dispatchers means you have application server 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 4 applications. So each one has their own dispatcher and it will communicate to those dispatchers. So which of you are free so that I can pass my request to you. That's what. So gateway communicate between the different SAP systems. So system A to system B to system C, like that. Okay. So this is again a theoretical explanation. So what have I explained so far? What is the central instance and how do you distinguish between central instance to this? Simple, message server and enqueue. Wherever there is a message server and enqueue, it's a central services instance. Even in the Java also, wherever there is a Java message server and Java enqueue, it's a central service, and rest all are like additional applications. The correct term is additional application servers. So it's a Java basics. So Sun Microsystems in 1995, they have developed it. I mean, in case if you're interested in the Java. So basic Java applications and applets. So it's not important for you. So same thing. So 3-tier architecture here also, presentation layer, application layer, and the database layer. So Java application layer, whatever I've explained, Java architecture, you have an CI, a central instance, and then additional application servers, and then DB is fine. I mean, Java and ABAP, anybody can go to this one. So then, yeah, these are all the theoretical guys. So this is not so important. I have explained already. So central server communication synchronized Java cluster. So central services instance have the what it has. So a message server. So message server, as I said, again, communication. So here in terms of dispatcher, it will communicate to the Java cluster. So this part I will explain here. So exactly. So this slide will explain what does all the theory is. So you have a request web. So Java systems, all the request comes from the web only, guys. There's no SAP GUI over there. Web request. So portal is the one example. So web request. So it comes to the Java dispatcher. So I mean, for simplicity purpose, Java dispatcher. Now what it is Java dispatcher? I mean, to compare with ABAP. So here it is now ICM. So in old system, they used to call it as Java dispatcher ICM. So ICM will pass it to the Java cluster node, server 0, server 1, server 2, like that. So in Java, server nodes will be there. So passes to the request. So central services instance is simply, I said, wherever there is an enqueue and message server, that's a central service, both in ABAP and Java. Okay. So same thing, whatever I was explaining you theoretically in that architecture in a more graphical or pictorial way. So yeah, in case if you are interested in the dual stack systems, which no longer available, okay, this is how the dual stack system looks. Okay, so the SAP GUI and then the Java here. Okay, so traffic comes in two flows, two ways. SAP GUI for the ABAP system. See here, you see an ABAP system and then Java system, and then web-based traffic comes to the ICM first. ICM will pass to the Java. But in SAP GUI, it's a straightforward. But dual stack system, we no longer have it. I mean, very rarely, because SAP already requested the customer to split them. So whenever you look into these systems, you look into as a two independent systems. One is ABAP runtime environment, ABAP system, or Java system. So you don't have any dual stack systems. Okay. So okay, now what all combinations of the systems which we have? So SAP Web Application Server, ABAP system, ABAP based, I explained, and then two Java system you can have, and ABAP plus Java. We used to have it, but now we removed it. So these are all like just for your, in case you are working with any old customer or the old one who are using, this is helpful, or else you just understand 1 and 2. That is more than sufficient, and you can easily relate to the other systems. So ABAP and Java. Okay. So any questions, guys?
Nishan, this is Naveen.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you please explain me on this dual stack systems? Like how do you identify that dual stack and all? And the same server we have Java and ABAP.
Okay. So, I mean, yes. So you have the same server, you have ABAP and Java. Okay. So you see the screen?
Yeah, I'm able to see the screen.
Okay. So dual stack systems, you have only one database. Okay. So
Okay.
if I have to put, the ABAP has its SID and Java also has its own SID. Okay.
Okay.
But on the same server, you have these two systems. For example, ABC, XYZ. ABC is the ABAP system or ABA. Okay. Let's call ABA as the ABAP system, JAV as a. So if you go to the server, so you will find these two folders. So, I mean, USR SAP ABA, USR SAP Java. And if you see PS minus EAF and grep of this process, you will find this thing also. So
but otherwise, can we go to CD profile, and in profile also the same will be maintained, right? ASCS and JSCS.
Yes. You see, but the most catchiest part here is the most tricky part here is the bottom one, database.
Okay, database.
In dual stack, you need to understand this particular thing. Okay, this is the most important thing. So why? Can you see the terms ABAP schema?
ABAP schema and Java schema.
Exactly. So this is where the dual stack, and it's full messy. SAP realized it. Okay. This kind of architecture is one of the messiest architecture SAP has introduced so far. That's why they have simply removed it. So what he is trying to do is all the logic what is happening in the application layer. That's perfect. Absolutely fine. That is a superb idea. Okay. One server can do the two things. It's a superb idea. But you are sending the data. ABAP is also writing on the same database, and Java is also writing on the same database. And it is right. How do you differentiate the data? It is writing in a different schema. So one is ABAP schema and Java schema. For example, schema user, you know, right? Databases, SAP ERP or SAP schema user. So all data writes under that particular schema user. When you are installing database, it will ask schema. Schema is the keyword or the key user under which all your tables, all your data is stored in. Okay. So now, under ABAP schema, you are writing the data. Under Java schema, you are writing the data. Then you are simply hitting the database like anything. It's very bad. Okay. So, and if your ABAP has a problem, your web traffic also, because the entire system is down. Simple. You understand, right? So suppose if your Java has the problem, your ABAP also gone. So it's like complete messy, and all these processes got stuck in between. Okay. So that's why SAP has discontinued this architecture, dual stack. Okay. They've completely segregated. So Java is different, ABAP is different. Okay, fine. If the ABAP is not working fine, your at least Java web traffic will work fine, right, on a Java database. Okay. So, and if your Java has problem and the ABAP can work it. So there's no point in troubling each of them. Suppose now what happens? So if one of these has the problem, then your entire system is down. So that's why this is the biggest problem in this architecture. So yes, it is a cost saving, it's a cost effective, but if you look at the drawbacks or the end user impact, so this is not a good architecture. That's why they have discontinued this dual stack. Okay. So even though it's a dual stack, this is the only thing. So the data which is being written in the database under two different schemas, that's it. That's the key thing which you need to understand when it comes to a dual stack. That is the problematic. And that also can create a bottleneck. Okay, what do you mean by bottleneck? So your ABAP and Java both are trying to hit the same server. Okay, so then your database performance is slow. So these guys, maybe for SAP, ABAP guys might not feel that impact is not so bad, but web guys will complain. For example, if you're launching an HTTP or HTTPS session, if it is even though you have an excellent internet connection and all, if your server, if it is not opening the page, you'll get frustrated, right? So this is not caused by this Java thing. It is caused by the ABAP thing. So that is intensive and it causes bottlenecks and it's a complete messy architecture. So they removed it.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Initially, they thought that, okay, this can solve it if you put some good thing and easy to operate, but this has caused complications like anything. Okay, I worked on dual stacks. Okay. So mainly BW systems, they put it on dual stacks.
And I think PO is also.
Yes, PO also. PO also dual stack. PI and POs also use it. Now, slowly they are removing it. So they've split it. So ABAP and Java split, there is an activity for basis guys. Okay. So they will split the ABAP and Java part separately, and they create each system has a different databases, and each of them will run as their own. Okay. So, and they have defined some sequence of actions when PI case, when you are stopping and starting, right? So first you have to stop Java and then ABAP, and when you are starting also first start ABAP and then Java. So that kind of that kind of mechanism they have implemented. So we will dual stack. I don't see anything now. From last 3 years at least, I have never come across. Okay.
Okay. No problem. Thank you.
Any questions, guys?
This is Saurabh this side. What is it? J.co in that between Java and ABAP server?
JCO, Java connector. So, for example, if there is a request comes to the ABAP and then this ABAP thinks that, okay, it's a Java has to do that task. Okay. So what it will do is that Java-based task, it will pass this dispatcher passes it to the through JCO, Java connector. Okay.
Yeah.
To the Java thing, and Java will do that job, and then it will give to the internet communication manager, and then it will pass to the web browser or whoever needs that access. Whoever needs it. Okay. Got it? JCO is a connector between these two stacks within the dual stack. Okay. Good. So any questions, guys? So you all got the system access, right?
Yeah, we have the system.
So what we are going to do now is we will log into the system. Okay. So we will, everyone, I want everyone to show that you all please put in a comment or somewhere that you are able to log in so that I know clearly that you guys. So, even though these looks very basic, but still I will explain you guys. So SAP logon. Some of you, while you are working, you may get frustrated with the screens and then the themes. Many of you might be knowing it, but I will explain you. Okay. So here in GUI, okay, you have these options. Okay. So theme settings. So I always prefer this SAP signature theme. Even the old versions or everybody can use this one. Or you can go with the default Quad theme or anything. I'm just showing you if there is an option to change fonts and the brands, color settings, and all these things. So most important one is the theme settings. So if based on the theme settings, that's how your SAP screen will appear. Okay. So let's say apply. So I've applied it. Okay. And the another thing is adding the system properties. So this is already added. Okay. So do you know how do you connect to the SAP system? So here I have explained you the 3-tier architecture. So we are talking about the lab 1, guys. But in this one, we are going to talk about presentation layer, how we are logging in. So now you just understood how do you change the theme, font, and everything from the SAP GUI. 770 is the latest version, this SAP logon. So as a basis guy, why am I stressing on this particular GUI part is even though it looks very simple. So some of the customers or the end users, sometimes they complain you that, hey, no, I'm not able to log into the system. I am not able to log into the system. You logged into the system and you check that the SAP system is up and running, all good. But the problem was they will be working on an older version of this one. So 720, 710, the SAP GUIs are discontinued. Okay. So they may work, they may not work. So they say that until it was working, it's not working. So as a basis guy, you always have to tell them that, which instead of you wasting time in analyzing so much, first ask them which GUI version. So this problem happens, for the people who are working on the WTS servers and remotely they're accessing, right? For them, they are using old this GUI versions. So I've seen cases where the problem was with the GUI. So you always check them. So see, any SAP version, the recommended version is the N-1. I don't know if you have heard the term N-1. So which means, so 770 is the latest one. Always go with the 760. That's the best. Okay, and you use the latest, that's fine. It's up to you. But always the best is the N-1. As a safe side, you recommend for anybody to N-1 version. For example, if you are applying a kernel, always suppose the N-1 version. Because latest version might not have been implemented by many customers and SAP also may not have tested properly. But the best part is go with N-1 so that many could have been migrated, and in Google or help.sap.com, you will find the solutions for the issues. Okay. So it's important you are in the right this one. Suppose if you want to connect to an SAP system. So when I say system ID here, SAP system. So I've explained you the difference between SAP system and an instance. So instance or the application servers, they both are synonyms. They both are, you can call anything. But let's put this way. So system ID is the E68 in this particular system. So application server, you can give the server host or the IP. Both should be fine. You are connecting to one of the SAP systems, one particular application server. So here, he has selected as a connection type custom application server. So when you take the custom application server, so it will take you to this particular IP application server. If you take the message server, group server or selection server, I think he has not configured this SMLG in this one. Group server, you need to give the logon group. That is the message server group. So then it will do the load balancing. So this is what I was talking. The request will go to the message server. Message server will allocate the free application server. Okay. But in this case, we are directly connecting to the custom application server. So if you have a load balancing, always use the group server selection and then give let's select it. See. So here you have to give the message server details. This is what I'm saying. So you see, when you select the group server, when you put the message server, it will take you to the message server, and then message server will take care of the load balancing, which applications. But the custom application server, you can give directly. Okay. So now let's go to the network. So sometimes you have to activate the SNC. Okay. Secure network communication. So once they install the certificate, they will give you the thing what you have to maintain here. So P/something. So that data you have to activate and maintain that here. Then only the access will go single sign-on. I mean to say. You don't have to give the user ID or password when you are logging in. So single sign-on purposes, you always come here and activate secure sign network, and they will provide you the string what you have to maintain here. Okay. Code page, ignore language default, and encoding is ANSI for all the Unicode systems. So default ANSI for Unicode systems, and you have so many this thing. So I will explain you about what is this Unicode and what is this ANSI. So 99% of the SAP systems have the Unicode systems and this ANSI encoding. And SAP got rid of the non-Unicode systems, and they were migrated all the non-Unicode to Unicode also. Okay. But still some customers, as I said, banking kind of guys, they don't want to migrate. So they were still on the old versions of the non-Unicode system. That's why here there is an option, but here you don't have to do anything over here. Simple, clear. Now let's connect to the system. Simple. So it is asking for the client. So it's an EHP8 system. You see here, IDES ECC 6.0 or EHP8. So let me open so log on to the system and run your transaction, log on to the system and run your transaction. Okay. So here you don't go with these things. Descriptions, you already got the application server, instance number, everything. So just with the user ID and password, this was the earlier system. So log into that. So I want you to execute these basic transactions. So SM04 and stuff. Okay. So now I will do that. So log into the 800 only for client. For me, I am logging into the admin client. So, okay. So, yeah, tell me. Somebody is asking. So simple SM04. So we talked about all these architectures and stuff, right, guys? From onwards, I want you to focus more on the hands-on. That is more important. So it doesn't matter how much theory you know, and you can go through Google also. Theory you will get anywhere. But the thing is starting in the right direction and then doing the hands-on. Because the more you work on the system, practical knowledge, I mean to say, the more you work on it, the better you will be able to troubleshoot the issues. Okay. So focus on the hands-on, and moreover, during this session also, whenever I'm spending time 1 hour, 1.5 hours for hands-on for onwards, okay, theory, I will give you the glimpse and an understanding of the topic, but hands-on is the most important thing, because utilize the system, what is given to you for the next 14, 15 days. So during the hands-on, I also give you some live troubleshooting scenarios. For example, if some user logs out or some user get killed or SM37 bag got failed, how do you troubleshoot it? When there were dumps, how do you check it? So I will improvise the hands-on also, and based on your level of understanding, and I will increase the difficulty as well.